This is it. Just these resolutions, no information and nothing like that, huh?
I think it's supposed to be in your mailbox.
No, only thing in the mailbox is this.
It's all.
Not that mailbox, I'm sorry, your email. Oh, your email.
Yeah, I printed my stuff out. I printed it out. This one. This one.
Yeah, so it was in your
I
email.
printed the email. Yeah.
Did you hear me, Mr. Shafi?
Huh?
It's in your email.
Okay.
Make sure the phone's upside.
Somebody put those two chairs right there. Garbage.
You saw how long it took for the blinds to get up.
Somebody asked me today that was this my real hair? I said, I don't even wear a hat. You think I'm wearing a wig?
Don't worry about it like those lights. Stay on.
No. I couldn't. So you can't.
Well, at least we were in it.
Yeah. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. I'm gonna stop at the school board meeting. 6. You still going to cookie?
I hope.
Tell me how much fun.
Yes.
It's better. I went to the last one with the new people. And it was much.
Any particular thing they got on the table?
I don't even know. I don't know. But when I went, Jamil,
No, she told me that
I
is
was
Friday,
there.
and that was at that
For
was
being, 30 years on
Minnie
school board.
Moore's house. at Minnie
Oh, okay, I
Moore's.
get what you're saying.
Yeah, they did a resolution for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I was
okay.
there.
I was like, okay, okay.
9 or 10, somewhere around there. Yeah. I think it was
Plans,
between
projects.
I'm
That's
gonna
what I'm
say
going.
2009.
Did they sell them?
2009 to
That's what I'm
2012.
going.
It
They
was one of
sold
them.
Ford, right?
No, they said they did.
Yeah. No. That was me at public comment. I wasn't on council at the time, so you notice that he never sued me for it because that would mean he had to prove it in court. So yeah.
Council Pro Tem,
Yes,
I just want to make sure you can hear me.
yes. How are you today?
I'm excellent. Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
how are you?
Pretty good, my brother. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Councilwoman Manica, how are you?
How are you? I'm doing well. One day at a time.
One day at a time. All right. I just wanted to make sure audio is working, video is working, so we're good. Chief should be there in any minute.
You hear me?
I can't hear
Am
you.
I loud? Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Want to go on with Chick-fil-A, just so I can get that ice lemonade. That's all I want, is the ice lemonade. It's good.
I was lemonade, so.
Mm. Hello, Madam Clerk.
Good evening, everyone.
How are you? Sleepy? I'm sleepy.
Yes, I was calling to see. No,
Can I get a shirt?
sure. Yeah, we got different ones.
They like it. There's Mark on her way.
Yeah.
Okay, it is now 5 o'clock. Calling to order City Council special meeting called by Mayor Linda McDonald. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Ashanti,
Present.
Councilwoman Martin, Councilwoman Manica,
Here.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Present.
Council President Thomas.
Here. So we have, two resolutions to discuss today. You don't have to do that. All those ones comes first, because they're not numbered. We'll read the first one. Resolution to apply for the Michigan Office of Highway and Safety Planning Commission grant. I'll get a
And
motion.
then are we doing them separately or together?
No, they don't.
Okay, so I move to approve with discussion, the resolution to apply for the Michigan Office of Highway and Safety Planning Commission grant.
Second, with discussion as well.
So I just want to give you opportunity to give any information that you wanted to give to the council.
Yeah, sure. So the Office of Highway Safety and Planning grant is basically a grant that would allow us to get reimbursed for specific enforcement. And some of the enforcement that they allow is speeding, distracted driving. Let's see, there was speeding, distracted driving, stop signs, seatbelt enforcement, and safe stop. And basically what that does is it allows us to get reimbursed for overtime expenses and salaries for officers who are enforcing rules during specific times. It also allows us to get reimbursement for equipment that could be utilized for that. So specifically the lasers, radars, things like that, you know,
This needed to do the job.
yeah, to enforce like speed. So that would be pretty much what that grant is.
So we didn't ask about the second one yet, so I do want to say, or ask this question. So where do you look for these grants, or how did you find out about the grant?
So often we belong to different email groups where we get like grants.gov and send them to us. And we start to seek out grants. However, these two grants were sent to us a little late. We got them basically last week in terms of the application. And so our plan was to have a regular council meeting, but we were instructed that these are due on the 17th at 5 p.m.
Okay,
So we
if we waited until then, okay. So I'm glad whoever sent them to you, sent it to you then. So hopefully we get in on this.
yeah,
So that
well,
was my only discussion.
that's where we're hoping. I did put in here, and it's probably important to know that although we request a specific amount, it's a pool grant.
Right,
So the more people who put in, the less funding that goes to each of them.
right.
So we're gonna request, you know, the sky and, you know.
Hope to get a cloud.
Hopefully something.
2 clouds.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Councilman Michelle.
Okay. You know what? Council Pro Tip, I'll wait. I don't have any questions on this one for the moment.
Okay, when you say reimbursed.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? So the city is paying you, and then you get reimbursed. I don't understand. the
Yeah,
first
so,
part.
you know, employees would get their standard check,
Okay,
and then we would submit for overtime for details and get reimbursed. And this is over a period of a 12 calendar, 12 month calendar year that we can.
what's the safe stop?
So it could be anything, looking for, you know, we're looking for weapons, so we could do something specific in terms of focused enforcement. So basically, that's what we're doing, some specific focus.
Now, you know what our concerns have been from day one to Chief, as far as getting material and stuff to us in a timely manner, so we can look it over, because you sent me an email, I printed it out,
Yeah,
okay, and I got a chance to look at it. But I'm asking you, please, and I'm not even putting the whole burden on you, get us the information in a timely manner, and so we can make an informed decision.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, we got this pretty last minute. And, it was literally the end of last week. We didn't even have time to review it. Once we reviewed it, then we reached out for a special meeting. And then once that was granted, I immediately sent it all to you, and sent text messages. That was as soon as I could get it.
And one last thing that I have requested is all of the grants that we have approved for you previously. Can you please give us some updates on those grants and the process and the progress that you've made in doing what you applied for, the grants for?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
So
I was just about to ask that.
I don't hold those documents. Previously, Mr. Burgess was the one who was the administrator and was communicating with all of those. So we would have to make contact with him to try and get something.
Yeah, because we want to know, because I know we need a bathroom fixed and a whole bunch of other stuff over at the new building, and we just want to know, is it being done and whatever.
Yeah, I can tell you, we haven't received any facility grants. So I'm not certain. A lot of times Mr. Burgess applies for stuff and we're not aware. So I'll ask him what we've applied for over the last 2 calendar years, and then I can tell you what we've been.
Yeah. I remember quite a bit, Madam Pro Tem. The $500,000 for a roof, money for K9, money that came in for officers that were trained to deal with people that having mental episodes. You're right. So the money for the sales, which I have seen is under construction. It's been quite a bit.
So I can tell you at this point, none of those were grant set, except for the mental health grant, which we were awarded, which was actually awarded prior to my being the administrator for the department. And we recently filed for an extension on that because there were some language concerns. And that was granted by the state. As far as anything else regarding the K9 or any other ones, we didn't take that back. We got a grant for, I believe, for a vest for the K9. That was like a $2,000 grant. But other than that, anything that's been done, which is very minimal, in the cell was actually done on a volunteer basis. We're the ones who removed the concrete. We're the ones who dug up the trench.
Oh, I just have a question.
Yes.
So I remember when we just asked this before, Mr. Burgess did come before us. I think the piece that's missing, because he did list all the grants, the piece that's missing, like, for example, to give an example, the lights, was it cameras or lights or something that put
The
them in
flock of
certain
cameras.
places?
The flock of cameras you're talking about.
So I think the only thing that was missing from that is saying, hey, this is where they are. I don't know if that was supposed to be it. We're not supposed to know where they are, or not
So,
saying
I mean,
us, but
you guys can
people.
know where they are, but
But-
it's not something we're gonna put out.
Okay, yeah, so I think that, so I'm trying to give an example of what additional information the council is looking for. So when Mr. Burgess did give a list, and he went through the dollar amount, et cetera,
509.
but
Yeah.
it
Let the
wasn't,
record show that Ms. Mark
it
came in
didn't
509.
show that where we can physically see and know that it's here. You mentioned the K9, the vest. You know, is it the vest that he wears that the K9 person wears? It's for the dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? So I think those are like that's the additional that I know some of it cannot be given out in public.
Yeah.
So maybe if that's something during, I don't know, a closed session, I don't know if that's legal's not here, but during a closed legal session or something like, not legal session, you know what I mean? A closed, when we go in for legal, those things can be identified and say, well, here's the picture of the vest, you know what I mean? Or here's where those flock cameras are, et cetera. So I think those are the pieces that's missing. So even if administration is actually, I know they're probably online, but I'm pretty sure those are the things, that additional information that council is looking for. And you just happen to be the person standing here.
No, I don't have,
So,
like I said, I don't mind giving that information.
right,
Although, I mean, we all know,
You
as a
can't
boss,
give-
I gotta get approval
yes.
to share that information.
Oh, no, I know, I'm
But,
just saying.
You know, I don't have any problems sharing anything that we've gotten, what progress we've made. Unfortunately, we haven't got as much as I would like to have gotten so far. That's why we're in the process of training additional staff to write grants, so we can
Great.
take advantage of any possible grant that we can get.
And I could think another additional would be saying, hey, we applied for that grant, but we didn't get it. You get what I'm saying? I think that's what council is looking for. I know those are the things, not just for your department, but anybody that's getting a grant in the city and we have to approve it, is saying, hey, you know what? Remember I applied for grant ABC? It didn't happen. I just want to let you know that we didn't get this grant, but we may apply for it again. So that leads me into my very last question. Is this a grant here? I mean, I know we're applying, we're only applying, but is this something we can do again? Is it?
Well, yeah, so congressional directed spending comes around annually. But just so we're clear, this is gonna be a fiscal year 2026 project, if
Okay,
it's awarded.
okay, thank you.
So it will not be something that's gonna occur immediately.
So it's good, because council can take note of that,
Yeah,
know that it's in 2026 project, correct?
correct.
Okay.
Now, I'm sorry, I misspoke. The
25?
congressional directed spending would be fiscal year 2026. The Office of Highway Safety would be this year. It would be
Okay.
something, but it actually would extend into 2026 because it's a 12-month grant basically.
Thank you.
Ms. Martin, you just getting here, but I'm giving you a chance to read over the resolution. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, you guys might have, my apologies for being late. I don't know why I thought it was 5:30. You guys might have gone over this, I'm not sure, but who does this benefit exactly?
The taxpayers ultimately, because they don't have to pay for overtime for enforced traffic, additional traffic.
How was that?
Pardon me?
How was that?
Because we're reimbursed, so we would be reimbursed for these expenses.
You
So if
said
we
traffic
do-
enforcement?
Yeah, so we could do, like I said, it's directed enforcement, so it could be something, it could be seatbelt enforcement, stop sign enforcement, distracted driving enforcement. And we talked about safe stop enforcement, where it's like an itemized thing, so we can say, hey, we're trying to weapons on the street.
Okay, so my apologies, I'm confused. Because I thought I heard something about vests. when I came in.
Oh, no, we were.
Going over other
we're just
grants and
going
stuff
over
that they
some
got.
past grants.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that would have to pertain to this, so this is not about vests.
No.
No,
No.
Okay, so this is about, and I know we're just applying, this doesn't mean that we've gotten it.
Correct.
So my question is, would that be like, what, cameras? And taking pictures of people speeding? What does that exactly look like?
No, it would be more like radar equipment or laser equipment.
Did you write on my paper? I just want you to.
This is yours?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I was carrying pen, I'm right on it.
Here, you can add this.
Thank you. Let me give her that one.
Can't be nice.
I'm always go right on it.
So,
Okay, radar, I'm listening, I'm back with you.
Yeah, so basically, as far as equipment goes, that would probably be the extent of it. But it also reimburses salaries and overtime while you're doing that target enforcement, as well as fuel costs associated with that target.
They're reimbursing salaries.
Mhm.
And then you said radar, or do we have a radar gun currently?
So we have radar in our cars, some of our cars.
Okay,
We have some outdated radar guns, although they're still calibrated. But this grant allows you to upgrade equipment. So,
okay, so it allows us to,
but it not necessarily that we're gonna get it.
I got that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
got
part of
that. I'm just saying, this would be predicated on the fact that if we did,
Correct.
right? So because you said it would help taxpayers.
Well, yeah, so we're not, obviously, at some point, we need this equipment. And we would, the taxpayers would have to pay for. Through this.
Through the grants. Right, and then we're gonna utilize it for radars, reimbursements on salaries. What else did you say exactly you would like to use it for?
So it could be, well, could be used for
Could.
reimbursement of fuel costs.
Fuel. The radars reimbursement on, how many radars do we currently have in the cars?
I believe we have 2 cars that have radars mounted into the vehicles. And we have handheld lasers.
And how things-
Chief, with some of this money, would it be able to be used for like training classes or courses or things of that
But we already
nature?
had a grant for that.
I thought we did too. But it's, you know, it never hurts to have more. I'm just curious if that's something we would be able to use.
No, this grant is through the highway safety and planning. It's strictly for enforcement.
Okay, okay. Because I think your officers need a little bit of training. Okay. I'm saying I had a nice little run in with a couple of them. They were very rude and disrespectful, very nasty. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's probably a discussion we should probably have
Okay,
offline.
okay.
And I did call you the following day.
Okay,
and you
I didn't get that call, Chief. I
You
apologize for
should
missing.
check your voice.
Yeah, I don't have a missed call from you at all. I didn't check the voicemail because I didn't know you called.
I can give you a voice.
Yeah, so yeah, you know, so no training, just for enforcement.
He was just asking if this could be used for this also.
Wasn't there a grant received for training for the police officers?
I thought it was.
I'm not certain. I don't recall.
Is Burgess on?
Specific training.
He's probably not on for this. You know what I mean? Just not on.
I think you might be speaking about the mental health grant.
I'm not sure. I know it was some. Police don't employ a social worker from one place. Okay, maybe that's what it is, and it's still ongoing. That's a $500,000 grant. Okay, my last question, and I'm done. We applied for this grant. What is the likely that we're not going to use it? Because I find out there are grants that we get and we don't even use them.
So I don't know of any grants that we've received that we haven't used.
Solar power, we haven't used that grant at all.
Well, I mean, I'm not.
I know you have nothing to do with that.
I'm
but that's
talking
why I'm
about a
asking.
grant specifically.
Exactly.
Any
Right,
grant
that's
that
what
we
I'm saying.
receive, we fully intend on using. So the likelihood, as far as I'm concerned, would be 0.
Okay. Even the $500,000 that we use, because that's ongoing, right?
Yeah, so we actually applied for an extension on that. And I was talking about, because there was some confusion in the language, the way it was initially drafted. It was based off a department up north somewhere, and it didn't fit our needs for what we needed.
Okay.
So that grant has basically been extended, and the language has been.
Okay. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but okay. All right, thank you.
Any more questions? Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilman Ashafi,
No.
Councilwoman Martin,
No.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tim Robinson.
Yes. The next resolution. Apply for a congressional directed spending grant. Can I get a motion?
I move to approve the resolution to apply for a professional directed spending grant.
Can I get a second?
I'll second with some questions.
Go ahead, Councilman.
So what is this one for? Chief?
So this is the congressional directed spending. It's a Gary Peters grant that we're applying for. We're specifically applying for $500,000 for facility improvements. And we're also requesting $200,000 for radio and LPR upgrades to meet the upcoming encryption requirements.
Upcoming encryption?
Yeah.
Okay. I yield back.
Any more questions?
Yes, I have a question. Same question as previous. Who does this benefit, this grant?
Well, again, it benefits the city as a whole. Currently, we have basically a serious need to construct a jail due to the conditions of our current jail. And it's a huge liability as far as I'm concerned. So by not applying for this grant, we miss out on funding that could basically remove that liability.
Okay. What is the current liability of the,
It's horrible.
you said it's horrible?
It's probably a discussion that should be
That's
offline.
horrible. You said it'd be a discussion that should be offline.
I would suggest.
Well, you got my number.
I mean,
You only text me about the special meeting. You got my number. I've asked you to be a judge. We haven't even talked since then. I hope I'm doing good too. Other than that, yeah, my number.
Any more questions? Madam Clerk,
I don't.
you
I'm
do?
sorry.
You
No,
do? No. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes for this one.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
I do have a question before we leave, just so I have a clear understanding. Why are we denying the Office of Highway Safety and Planning grant?
We're gonna have to talk about that offline.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Because.
You got my number.
Just to publicly say this, I have no idea why we would ever deny the opportunity for a grant that's going to improve the city of Highland. So, to me,
Yes.
I believe that's fiscally irresponsible.
We can talk about it offline, Chief. It's fine.
Okay.
Madam.
So, don't go nowhere. I'm gonna be honest, I actually had the same question that the chief had, in so many words, I had the same question, that we're only applying, we don't even have the grants. I mean, we're just applying, and at the rate that grants in the federal government right now are not being approved, we need to apply, and the fact that we do not have equipment that is upgraded, and that we need some other equipment, we need some other things. And these are all things that other police departments have in other cities and other counties that we would even consider not just applying for. It doesn't make sense to me either, because they're only asking to apply. And they gave you what for equipment, for salary reimbursement in regards to overtime, right? I think for the salary reimbursement and allow for upgrade of current equipment. If we can spend money that's not ours on upgrading or getting better stuff, it saves the city, in turn saves the residents, which is all of us, at the same time. I'm not sure where we're going, but I know that we as a council need to think more as a whole than as individuals, and how we may personally, emotionally, socially feel about certain things, because we are not just hurting, or we're not just saying no. We're saying no to the livelihood of this city. And if you don't understand, and Mr. Shafi says it all the time, that we're not gonna be here. If it's up to others, but when we're not doing for us, it makes others say, well, we don't need to do it. And then we get those people that come in that only wanna give us that itty bitty part, telling us that they're giving us the world when they really not. They have scamming. Or we have people that just come in and do what they want. Well, we're never gonna go forward if we don't put something in it. And that's just my opinion. Secondly, I wanna offer to you for us to meet, because I am I actually have been looking into being able to purchase for the police department or the traffic a speed sign. But I was gonna come to traffic to see if we already have one, see how that can be done. This sign would be able to be moved So say that you put it on Oakland, it's gonna take, the speeds at certain times. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to. And if, you wanna say, okay, we did this area long enough, you can put it somewhere else. Now, I did run into the issue of how much they cost. So, I would like to sit down and see how that could be used. I'm planning on coming to one of those meetings. I don't know if the police are there or I need to come to both meetings for us to talk about it. But I would like to see that happen. And it'd be something we could use because I talked to engineering before in our meetings to say, looking at those areas where we have industrial park driving, how can we change that? But you know, a traffic study, so they are doing that. Can we make them one-way streets? Can we make them cul-de-sacs? Because they are coming and speeding, trying to get to a store or wherever they're going. And so this would be a way to figure out too, those times that it's happening. It was a couple other things, so we can go over it another time, because we're done for today. But please, let's make a date if you can. I did send an email about your calendar. So that we can sit down and talk about that.
Okay, before we adjourn, I just wanted to state for the record that I was going to vote no because of the past and the previous things that are not allowed and allotted to us. But I said I would never compromise the safety of the city or the citizens, ever. So that's why I voted yes.
Well, I appreciate your honesty.
Yes,
And I guess it's important for me to express that the police department should not be held
yes,
responsible for things that are beyond our control.
yes.
And oftentimes I feel that that's the case. I mean, this is a business,
Yes,
and by not accepting potentially free money is the most absurd thing I've ever
thank you, Chief.
heard. I appreciate it.
Can I get?
I got a comment. Was your comment directed towards me?
My first question,
Yeah.
yes, it was.
So you think it's personal, you think it's personal or
No,
emotional
that's
or?
not what I said. I didn't say it was
I'm
personal.
asking.
That was a separate statement. My first question was, I didn't understand. I was gonna ask you, what makes us not want to apply for something that's going to be traffic safe?
Right.
And there's many things that are happening on, we're in Manchester, going down Oakland. I'm always calling them, telling them about, it was the middle of the day, and I swear this person had to be going almost 130. If it wasn't, he sounded like he was in a race. And so if they hit a bump, or if we're not targeting those areas, if we're not getting that equipment to catch them, whatever it is, it's just going to continue. And we have, you know, how unsafe we are, but we're not providing the mechanisms, or we're not providing the things to increase our safety.
So my question is this, why are we applying for grants and we're not utilizing that money?
Okay, no. So at one point, we have to separate what he's asking for and what you're
No,
talking
I'm
about
talking
up
about,
there.
no, I'm asking you, why are we applying for grants and not utilizing money? You're right, it's free money that's been given to us.
So I'm answering your
So
question.
why is that?
I'm answering your question. First thing is, those are two different things, because the grant you mentioned that was not being utilized had nothing to do with the police department.
It does have to do with safety though.
But it had nothing to do with the
It has
police
to do with
department.
safety though.
It's in our packet. It's on our agenda for Monday.
The grants that he's asking to apply for has nothing to do with why those are not being used, or the particular one I heard you ask about. I don't even think it's their grant. I think it's in a different department. But either way, that these grants are just being applied for. And
I got
if it happened, and so here's my other thing, Ms. Martin. I can't right the wrong of the past, but what I can do is deal with it now and moving forward. And so sometimes we get caught up in, I gotta fix what they doing wrong, or I gotta fix what he not doing right now. And sometimes,
It's not about fix.
no. I'm giving a generalization in a sense, okay? So sometimes that's what we get caught up in. And sometimes our constituents get caught up in that as well, and they bring it to us. Because believe me, I didn't receive all kind of phone. Okay, and it's just a point, I can't, I'm speaking for me now. I can't right any wrong that anybody else did. I can only do now and move forward. So before you came in, we were talking about all the grants and the additional information that we're not receiving or that we're really looking for. So I pointed out an example of, hey, maybe we purchased something. That's where you came in with the vest.
Okay.
Come back and show me that we got the vest, so I know that it got paid for.
Right.
That was, I said, so Mr. Burgess did provide to us all the grants, and he gave these areas, but then there were some spaces missing. Now, some of that additional information cannot be given out, I don't know if you hear when that part came out, cannot be given in public, in this form here. Because that is real personal information, and in some cases, like the flock cameras, I wouldn't want the thief to know where the flock camera was. So that information, we have to figure out how they can give it to us in a different setting. So I actually said maybe when we go into legal, like a closed session, that's where they can give that additional information that we're looking for, like, hey, where are those at? So we know that you actually bought them, because that's what I think we are actually looking for. When we say we got 500,000, did you spend it all on X, Y, Z? And we wanna know, we wanna see it. And if I'm wrong, please say, no, it ain't that I wanna see it. But it's that I wanna see that you, when I gave you that money to go to the store, that you bought what you told me you was gonna buy.
I mean, isn't that what we usually tell our, whoever we sent to the store?
Yeah,
Right, we
and
want
so
the receipt.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, that's what Thompson's saying, they're still not getting, so that's the part you came in
Right.
with the vest, so we kind of covered that a little bit, I hope.
Yeah, so
we
there's
kinda
that,
covered
and then, like I said, the same thing with when you are giving money and you want somebody to go to the store and they didn't come back with nothing. That's an issue too.
And that, again, is the additional information that I said that we're not getting,
Right.
you know, we didn't get.
Does this grant that we're applying for cover for those speed? The one where you're talking about, this is how fast you're going?
He's talking about, he maybe could purchase that way. Right now,
That's-
they got a specific need for radar, but we already said no to, I think we already said no. Yeah, we already said no.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Hey, Pro Tem Robinson. Hi, this is Attorney Bosnick. I just want to make sure that you allow anybody that's there to give the opportunity to make public comment if they so choose.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry.
Well, then we didn't have an agenda.
It's on the, it's only supposed to be on the items that on the agenda for special
Right.
meeting.
Yeah, it's still a special meeting, so someone gets the opportunity to make public comment, and if they're present, they would like to before you adjourn. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, would you like?
Hey, yeah.
Hey,
My name is Carla Oliver.
yes.
In regards to this, I do agree. Just my point of view
Mhm.
about applying for grants.
Mhm.
However, I do also agree that the grants need to be utilized, because if not, then if they're not utilized, then the persons that's giving us the grants might not want to offer us anymore.
Mhm.
So that's important. But I also say that I understand that we want to get all this equipment, but we need to understand what we have now and utilize what we have now. For example, how many vehicles do we have? Does any of those vehicles have tractors in it?
Two.
Do we monitor the routes in which these vehicles are taking daily to patrol? I have a lot of family in law enforcement. And with that, a lot of departments, most of the people are on the beat. They're outside, they patrol the neighborhoods. That needs to be happening here regularly.
Right.
Instead of parking behind in a car when you see 6 or 7 vehicles versus people moving around, riding through the city, monitoring, which will reduce things like dumping, which will reduce things like home invasions, things of that nature. Again, talk about the mentality and the culture. That matters, because then people would think twice about coming inside of the city deciding to make those type of criminal acts because they're realizing, hey, we can't go here because we know the city they're continuously patrolling. So first, we need to focus on that and understand and track that information. Because if we get this money for this grant and we're not utilizing what we have with the money that we have, which doesn't cost money at all, not much in that case, it needs to happen. So I understand that's the same what you're saying we need to apply for all grants. If it doesn't cost us anything as well for those grants that we have to meet. So that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Renee Ford, I live on West Buena Vista. To the two council persons that said no to the grant, from my understanding, he mentioned it would be for radar equipment or something to that nature. So as a citizen, I sit on my porch when it gets hot. And Third and Buena Vista and Tyler, there's been a lot of traffic. And literally, I just said today, somebody needs to be right there at Third and Buena Vista or Third and Tyler, because they were just flying through that area. So if someone was sitting there with a radar gun, they could be in the middle of the block and still catch them. So I believe that that vote should come back. I don't know if he can bring it back, but in my opinion, as a citizen that sits out or walks the neighborhood, we should reconsider that as far as the equipment, because we do need radar and whatever else. The Ferndale gets me every week.
Thank you, Ms.
Oh
Ford.
my goodness.
Anybody else would like to speak?
Every week, so.
While I think the chief is coming up, but while he's coming up, Chief, do you happen to know, I meant to see downstairs, when is your next meeting and when is the traffic meeting?
The traffic enforcement meeting's now been scheduled. That's
Okay,
what you're talking about.
yes.
And the next chat with the chief would be,
19th,
We're a police commissioners meeting?
March 19th.
Yes, it is, March 19th.
Or is that Tifa?
no, I think it's the 26th.
That might be Tifa on that.
I think it'll be
And what time is that, in the morning?
the,
Chief.
no, they're at 6 p.m.
I think the mayor's city is on the 26th. Can you schedule it for the 26th?
So we probably. So I did want to come up and speak on some comments that were made, and it pertains to this. So often there's comments made regarding the lack of patrol that's being done in the city.
Right.
You know, all of these things. All of our cars have GPS. We monitor our officers. Our stats, I think, more than show that the officers are working. I hear from many citizens about how proud they are to live in the city of Highland Park because the police department has such a fast response time as opposed to other cities. So I think what happens is we get a lot of disinformation that gets spoken up here sometimes. And if people would like factual information, they're more than welcome to come see.
Thank you, Chief. Now can I get that motion for adjournment?
Motion to
Come see me.
No,
Hey.
concerned citizens, where you like to
Okay.
post and then inappropriate.
Did we get a
Oh, I'm
support?
sorry.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Christy Durr, and I'm a resident of Highland Park. It's my first meeting.
What's your last name again?
Durr.
Durr?
Yeah.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. I just want to add a comment to what you said in the conversation that you ladies were having in regards to checks and balances and getting receipts. I just wanted to know I'm not opposed to anybody getting any free money that's going to help boost Highland Park situation. However, I do want to know, who are you guys expecting to produce these receipts, and who are you expecting to audit this situation? I just want to know. That's just my question.
You look at me, we have an audit system. There's part of the audit.
And I will get back to you with those answers.
Oh, was that it? Oh.
Okay, no.
We individually answer, or either the president or the vice president will answer you.
Yes, and I will get back to you with the answers to those.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Question, how long is that gonna take, that answer?
For her, fast.
Give me a phone number.
Oh, Ms. Porter now?
Yeah,
Wait, we take a vote for this.
we did already. Everybody say yay.
Aye. Aye.
Ms. Durr. Can I have your phone number, please? I'm taking the elevator.